Hello, guys. This is Danya Goodman here. It is Sunday, 9:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 18th. So this week, let's talk about some film scoring and just some scene scoring things that I do. So, guys, what I have here is kind of a show intro. Um, it's a show intro. For those of you, if you guys remember the song that I go into, there's a song that I go into. Then, if you remember what song that is, then you know what this intro was for. And so I just put together this show intro, just to give you guys an idea of how I approach it. I approach film scoring the same way. Only difference is that I'm scoring to different scenes of film. But when it comes to theatrical plays and different shows, tour shows and whatnot, I take the similar approach. I just write according to what is supposed to be happening on stage. All right, so let's take a listen.
Welcome to this experience.
System start.
And so it begins.
All right, so you guys are going to learn quite a bit in this. So you heard the theatrical approach I took to it, and the also the goes into the musical piece there and different things like that. So let's start with the rhythm section. Of course, my weapon of choice on this particular thing for the live drums is Tune Track Superior Drummer 3. Tune Track Superior Drummer 3. Kind of waiting for it to come up there. But the reason, there it is. The reason why I use Superior Drummer, and I'm into Superior Drummer 2, Superior Drummer. I was into this when they first came out, Superior Drummer 1. And those drums are still usable, still trackable. They are by far the closest second software is BFD by FXpansion, and I'll definitely be doing some reviews and some songs where I'll show you how I use that. But the thing about Superior Drummer 3 is, I mean, the dynamics and the range of tone that you can get with just the basic sounds that come with this program. This isn't any of the expansions. This isn't any extra sounds that come. These aren't any expansion sounds that come with this program. These sounds that you hear are just from the basic sounds that come with this program, you know, and it's just absolutely amazing, you know. So it's, for those of you who can, you know, that snare is amazing to me. So, and it comes with a bunch of onboard effects, a bunch of compression, EQ, reverb, tape slammer, tape simulation, all. Let me go through it. So let me just pick a random. Okay, so you have different EQs and creative filters, all kinds of compression and transient plugins, exciters and gates, and all kinds of things, distortions, tape simulators, and distortion and bit crushing and reverb and delay and phasers and chorus, and you can pretty much sculpt whatever sound you're trying to come up with this particular drum program. And at first, I must admit that I detested it. I could not stand it. I felt like the drums weren't hitting hard enough. They weren't this, they weren't that. And it's really because I was married to Superior Drummer 2. And I will say that Superior Drummer 2 was a lot more easier to get into than this program. But once you get into it and you learn it, oh my goodness. The sounds and the tones you can come up with for drum replacement and for drum programming. Okay, there's a mode on here called Tracker, and it actually allows you to bring in audio, and it tracks and send that audio to MIDI. And it's just amazing. It's absolutely crazy. So you can use this program to replace your drums. You can drop audio to get MIDI, and it'll just source out your audio to drum parts, and then you can just make necessary corrections from there. It's absolutely comes with grooves. So if you're not, if you're not a programmer and you want some, you want some inspiration, it's right there. Okay, the next, now for my sound effects, I like to use the Impact in Studio One. I love it because you can chop and screw all kinds of samples in this thing. But I have the explosion. I have, this is actually just a little hit to go along with the explosion. So when I hit them together, the explosion has more punch, right? Then for the reinforcement of the groove, when it goes into the song, I have extra kicks, claps. So let me play what goes in right here. So you got the explosion. Then it goes into the claps there. Yeah. And then there's a little riff. Then there's the reinforcement on the groove. So when you're tracking for shows, or when you're tracking doing stems for shows and tours and theater plays and different things like that, you want that reinforcement. And it may seem like you don't need it, but once you hear that stuff coming through a sound system, that joint hits very hard, and a lot of artists really like that. They want the drums to be killing like that. So in the beginning, I have this orchestrational groove going, this dramatic type thing happening, and then it goes into this orchestral rhythm, and I use, let's check out this sound, and then I'll tell you what it is in a second. Right, so I got these big drums happening, and for that, I believe I use the Contact, it's used Contact 5 or 6, but the library is called Action Strike. Those are your big, huge, giant drums, top taikos or taikos, however you pronounce it, big kettle drums, big toms, big bass drums, big old cave drums. It adds that huge film score element with the big giant drums. I'm waiting for my computer to stop acting up. All right, cool, there it is. So there's Action Strikes, and this thing is absolutely a godsend when it comes to actually programming big drum stuff, right? And so it has different things that you can actually trigger certain patterns, you know. You can actually trigger certain patterns with the keystrokes, or you can play them yourself. So for instance, where are we at? So right, and let's say I want a different pattern. So it's very intuitive. Or if you want to play them yourself, you can do that. That's the lovely part about that. And I mean, you can pick different drums. They range from all sorts of drums and presets. For this bass, I'm using the good old Spectrasonics for the live bass. I'm definitely using the good old Spectrasonics bass. It's been a go-to of mine for a long time. So, I mean, I definitely swear to it, because it enables me to get all my ideas out and still be able to emulate a lot of the live bass, articulations. Okay. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Trillion, please get into it. Now, the good part about it is, you know, it's not just live basses and acoustic basses, it's synth bass up the wazoo. And you can make your own patches with the editor, and you can come in and tweak to your heart's content, make patches from scratch, synth patches, all of that stuff. All right. So, case in point, when it gets to this synth bass at the end, I use Trillion again, but I made my own custom patch to fit the original bass of the song that I programmed at the end. And so I made this patch from scratch. So that's what you're hearing. And it's just perfect. Of course, for the piano, guys, you all know what the go-to is. Keyscape right now is killing the game when it comes to grand piano stuff. Now, there are other great, don't get me wrong, there are other great grand piano libraries, particularly in Contact, and then there's the Ravenscroft. So there's more, but I've been swearing by Keyscape, because Keyscape, there's always one preset that just nails exactly what I'm looking for in a piano. All right, so this is what I use. Let me take the EQ off so you can hear the depth of it. Right? You can hear a lot of the overtones, the hammers. Ah, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.